So there's been a couple of changes, or a couple of things I want to change on the Challenger. Sorry, where's my manners? I forgot to say g'day. So, I was about to say, there's a couple of the little things I want to change on the Challenger. I've been really happy with it since I got it. One of the things I have been a little bit concerned about, probably coming from the Range Rover, which used to run predominantly quite cool. The Challenger seems to run reasonably hot, so it's not unusual for it to run around that 94 degrees Celsius coolant temperature. And also the intake temperatures tend to be quite high as well, partly because it's turbo diesel, so turbo diesels do tend to run quite high intake temperatures. But also the intercooler, even though it's in a really good spot, and I forgot to put my phone on silent. Right. Sorry about that. So, what I was about to say was, the Challenger tends to run quite warm, which isn't a problem. The cooling system seems to cope with it. Okay, it just seems to run quite warm. But also the intake temperatures also seem to run quite high sometimes. I've noticed. Sort of, it's typically when it's being driven relatively hard. I've noticed, 65, 68, even 70 degree intake temperatures. Which, hot air is less dense, so obviously there's less efficient combustion going, combustion going on there in the cycles, etc. So I prefer to have a slightly cooler temperature. Now the intercooler itself is actually pretty good. It's in a good location. It's a bit small, but it's actually in a really good location. It's right at the front, in front of the radiator, at the bottom. It gets lots of fresh air. Well, it did until I put the winch in. Once I put the winch in, it covers about half of the intercooler. Now, this is a problem with every vehicle. A lot of vehicles, I guess, once you put a winch in, especially with the front mount intercooler. I've also noticed it covers sort of the bottom half of the radiator up quite a bit as well. So the coolant temperature runs about sort of 2 degrees warmer as well. So I want to try and address that at some point in the future as well. So I purchased a new intercooler. It's about 30% bigger than the old one, although it does fit in roughly the same space. Now, that's the new intercooler. One of the big things I noticed with this is, though, it doesn't have a plastic header, so it's not going to crack. It fits on the same mountings and everything, and it looks pretty good. It's all aluminium, it's bolts straight on. I'm quite looking forward to fitting it, and I'll show you what the other one looks like compared to this one as well. So yeah, this will be going on later on in this video, so I'm looking forward to putting that on. Oh, before I forget as well, I've also taken off the light force driving lights as well to help try and give a bit more airflow to the front of the car. Obviously with the winch there blocking all the airflow out from underneath. So with the light bar up the top there, which is another steady light bar, I've been so impressed with the other light bar that I've got on the roof, I decided to go for another steady light bar. So I purchased that one, and from what I've seen so far of it, it's been awesome. So I don't know whether you can see the intercooler in here, but yeah, just behind the winch there. So you can see it's not very big, and it's sort of, it's okay, but it's not the greatest size intercooler, so it's going to get changed. Okay, we've got a bit of a rainy day here, but it's a good day, I guess, to do remove an intercooler and swap it over. So first things first, obviously, is I've got to remove the grille, get underneath and remove some of this bumper area as well, and then pull the intercooler, take the old intercooler out. Then when I get it out, I'll compare the sizes and have a look at it. Reusing one of the gaskets, I've got some gasket paste, should be okay for that. And from there, it's obviously refitting the intercooler. So I'm going to get on with doing the gasket, removing the grille, and sort of working from there. So luckily, this is the easy part of the job. Pulling out the clips. away we go. Obviously don't want to lose those. Gently pulling off the grill. Bring the grill forward and I can get to it just here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to turn that and bring that top out of the way over there. Pull it out of the way. So as you can see, the top of the intercooler is just here. Bolts in here and here. Another bolt there. Flexi hose there. And then it pops off. So we'll get on with taking those apart and good to go. So I'll do the flexi hose first, which is just here. Loosen the Jubilee clip off. Hopefully that'll come off quite easily. Again, I'll put that to one side so I don't lose it. The next thing is some salt bolts to move there. And a couple there. Okay. Okay. Move this 12mm bolt. Rubber thing off. The top bolt from here, which I'm going to have to use a spanner for. It's a 12mm again. Obviously trying hard not to hit the radiator. So the next tricky bit is, after I've taken this top bolt off, get into this one under here. So I've got to kind of go underneath the bull bar, I think, to get to that. And once that's off, I believe the whole thing should just come out. We'll just push that out of the way. Okay, one last bolt to go. Just need to get to it, and once I've got to that, I can pull the intercooler out and good to go. There we have it. The old intercooler's out. As you can see, it's probably seen better days. It's full of crap. If you can see that, it's full of oil and gunk, so that's probably one of the reasons why it's not been as efficient as it could be. But we'll stick the new one in, and I'll show you what the new one looks like side by side. There we go. So, new intercooler, old intercooler. Plastic, metal. Oh wow, now that the bubble wrap's actually off, you can actually see quite a big difference between the size of the two. And this one's a Forefront Industries one, made in Australia, local, fairly local. Quality looks really good, so we'll see how it goes. But this one's all pressed together, whereas this is welded, obviously, because of the metal headers, or the aluminium headers. So obviously it's going to be a lot stronger as well. So hopefully, by the time we get it back together again, we'll see a difference in intake temperatures. So one of the reasons, obviously, I want to do this is to help keep intake temperatures down. It's not necessarily going to give me more power, but it will give me a lot more efficiency when I'm running. So that's sort of the main consideration for that. So all I've got to do now is just start swapping some bits over. And whilst I've got it all apart, I'm just going to tidy up some of the cabling under here that I couldn't get to, obviously, with the old intercooler in there. So there's a couple of loose bits of cable which I'm just going to cable tie up out the way, which will give me a bit more space and easy access. So now that's all tied up and out the way, it's heaps better. I can actually drop the intercooler straight into the hole there now, and hopefully that should make life a lot easier when refitting it. As you can see, it's roughly in place. Just got to put the gaskets on, tighten up the bolts. Once that's done, we'll make sure everything's all tight and good, and give it a test. Okay, that's reasonably in, fairly tight as well. I just need to tighten it all up properly when it's finished. Got to do that hose and put this bracket in and tighten those up. Once that's done, pretty much good to go. There we go, it's all in, all tight. Looks pretty good. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with how that looks. Okay, for the moment of truth, as they say, will it run? And will there be a check engine light? Ooh. So far so good, no warning lights, no check engine lights. All the gaskets seem tight, and everything seems to be okay. So I'll put the grill back on, put that bungee tray back on, and hopefully we'll be alright. There we have it, it's done. I'll give it a good run in a minute. I'll get myself cleaned up and I'll give it a good run, and see how we go. But fingers crossed, should all be good. I'm looking forward to giving it a good test. Okay, so the proof is in the pudding, as they say. So I've obviously got changed and showered and clean. So I'm going to take it for a drive. Now I'm going to go up a road that I went up over the weekend, which gave me a good idea of how hot the intake temperatures were getting. They actually got up to about 65-70 degrees. On this quite a long steep hill, so I'm going to head up to there, let the engine warm up, obviously, like I did the other day, and see if it makes any difference. Kind of interested to find out. Hopefully it's all been worth it. Now I should say, changing the intercooler isn't necessarily going to give you a whole heap of extra performance. So if that's the case, why would you do it? Well, one of the benefits it will do is it will give you, rather than giving you outright performance, it will give you less of a loss of performance when things start getting hot. So if you're travelling like across a desert and doing a lot of heavy load driving, putting a bigger intercooler in there will actually reduce those intake temperatures, and cooler intake temperatures means denser air going into the engine. Denser air is generally more oxygen rich, so if that's the case, obviously you're going to get better combustion. So by changing the intercooler, what you're effectively going to do is you're going to increase the efficiency going into the engine, or increasing the efficiency of the engine, I should say. So you're preventing, or helping to prevent, a loss of performance rather than providing a gain of performance. So we'll see what happens. I'm kind of optimistic, but not. I'm curious more than anything else. So I want to see whether it's going to be a big difference or not. So I've been driving a good few Ks now, and the engine temperature is up to where it should be. Intake temperature, interestingly, is sitting at 39 degrees. Outside temperature is 24-25 degrees, so it's probably not a bit lower than what it was. Not a whole heap, but maybe 5 degrees lower. 5 degrees can make a big difference though, so it does seem to be working. The other flip side of this, I guess, is that the cooler intake temperatures could also have a knock-on effect of reducing, potentially, I guess, reducing the coolant temperature as well itself, because the engine's got cooler air going into it, it's running more efficiently, it's potentially running cooler. We shall see.
And here's the hill, which you can see is quite steep. Let's see how we go. The torque converter lockup kit is all on as well, so that's all working nice. Oh, there's a big truck coming down the hill. I'm going to have to pull over and wait. It's a 3-ton limit on this hill, so I don't know quite why there's a big truck coming down here. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, he shouldn't be on this hill. It's a 3-ton limit. I think that's probably more than 3 tons. Yes, the other day when I came up here, by this stage I was probably hitting nearly 70 degrees. Today I'm on 55, 56. And the coolant temperature is up to 95, and it was on about 97 before. So, does that mean it's a lot cooler? Possibly, yes. And it's topped out at 57 degree intake temperatures as opposed to nearly 70 degrees the other day. That's a huge difference. Actually, that's a really huge difference. I wasn't expecting that. Right, it's leveled out, temperatures are all coming down and settling down. Wow. That's made a big difference. I'm genuinely a little bit speechless on that, because I was expecting some change, but not necessarily that much. I think it's safe to say it's a success. Wow. Well, there you have it, guys. A larger intercooler does reduce intake temperatures, and it does seem to have a bit of an effect on coolant temperatures as well, or engine temperatures as well. It certainly felt like I wasn't losing any power going up the hill, even though I had to stop and pull away. Very, very similar to what it was a few days ago when I drove it. And yeah, I'm quite impressed. Well, there you have it, guys. That's a really good indication of what a larger intercooler does. And coolant intake temperatures dropping down already. It's already down to about 49 degrees now that we've all leveled out. Huge difference. So I might just pull over and switch it all off and check it all. But wow.